Hey everybody, welcome back to This Old Trike. Today, I've got a video I want to do where I talk about good, better, best. Let's compare what would be not necessarily your barn find three-wheeler, but your survivor three-wheeler versus the three-wheeler that your buddy did some work to versus one done by a professional restoration. But I'm going to pick everything apart. Nothing's sacred today. If something ain't right, I'm going to call it out. So let me flip this around and show you what we're working with. Who would have thought that Honda in 1973 would have come out with an orange three-wheeler targeted at children with a flame job on it? Look at that. You know, if you're just seeing these for the first time, you think, wow, that can't be factory. That's got to be something that somebody's done and made to look like that. But no, this is how they came. But I've got three, nice ATC70s here. 1973, first gen, KO. They had this interesting nomenclature back then. KO, K1. What's the K stand for? I don't know. Maybe I'll figure that out before I share this video and I can learn myself and teach you guys. But what we've got here is a survivor. This is mostly complete. There's a couple things that it lacks, but it is mostly complete in all the areas that you'd want it to be. I'll explain what that means. This is very nice, but is quirky. It's had some things done to it. I'll point those out. This is fully restored. And it's funny, I've owned this machine twice. I just recently became the owner of this machine. I bought this from a gentleman in New Jersey. Yes, New Jersey, a number of years ago. It was really rough. And I'll overlay some pictures to let you know what I mean here on the right side. But this thing, when I bought it, had been acquired by two brothers. And they were changing business directions and needed to sell off the three-wheelers they had bought jointly. So I bought this machine and brought it home with about 24 others. Not all 70s, but a mix. And Nick Sincotti over in Massachusetts bought this from me, sight unseen. Had it shipped to a professional restorer. And just I'm gonna pick some things apart about this, so I'm not gonna name names and throw anybody under the bus, because who knows what the agreement was. So but it was restored and it looks really nice. But as you get picky as a collector, you start to want perfection, and sometimes perfection is just hard to attain. But this went to Nick Sincotti. Then it got sold to my buddy Chad Bennett. You'll remember from an early video that we did. We went to Chad's house and proved that Chad is legit. And but it recently changed hands, and I bought it from that owner. I'm not going to get into details of how that happened. But I recently got it. So that's restored. This has been cleaned up, mildly customized, and this is the survivor. So let's get into picking these apart and showing you, if you're buying a machine and you've got options like this. Do you want to go the big money to buy something that's been restored? Do you happy with this level of, I can take it from here sort of purchase? Or you'd rather have it original, even if it does have some rust and patina on it? This is what you'd prefer. But that's what I want to talk about today. And I'll tell you the story about where these all came from. So I can't remember where I got this one from. I'm going to have to do some homework and refresh my memory. But of the three, this is the most untouched. And what does that mean? So it hasn't been molested. It hasn't been, you know, nobody's gotten in here and done things that have compromised its originality. It's got aftermarket rear tires on, the old Changshin, but it's got the original Whammy-Lass, SP Whammy-Lass Atsu front tire on it, little knobbies. So that's exciting. But let's look at this. There's only one ridge there. Let's compare that to what's on the restored. Different tire. SP Whammy-Lass. But this one is an original. This is an older tire. So that, if you're looking for original, that is more of the tire you'd want. I see we're missing a vent line or a drain line off the carburetor. Heck, we're missing, no we're not. I was gonna say we're missing the fuel lines, but they come from the other side of the tank. The tank is original. Well, how did they come in? I don't know about these things. Nope, they wrap right around and they come in from the side here, so that's interesting. The tank is original, unrestored. This is the only one of these three that is unrestored. And there is some surface rust in there. You can't see it, it's just a dark abyss. Somebody's coming to visit, and I don't know who it is. Turns out that was my sister. She got a new Jeep. Got rid of that GM product. Not that there's anything wrong with it. Anyway, I digress. This one has a gas cap with no vent shut off. It's got some corrosion on it. This one's got the same style cap, a lot nicer condition. This one has a cap with a vent shut off. I would suspect that is not the original cap for this style machine, and these two have the original cap. This tank is unpainted, unrestored. Got a little ding there. Patina, full of patina. You know, if you're into that, you're into that. This one's been repainted. This is reproduction decals. But the thing that amazed me is you repaint the tank. I gotta get the right light, but at the back there, right here, you don't get all the dings out. You don't make it perfect. You're going to the length to restore it, but you don't make it perfect. This one is pretty perfect. Beautifully restored. It's got all the right decals on it. The gentleman who did this tank is very well known in the three-wheeler restoration world, and he did an outstanding job on that tank. So, tank. Good, better, maybe, best. And look who joined us today. What's up, cat? Tango. It's my cat. That is a rare occurrence to see him in one of my videos. Anyway, you'll see the side case on this. The paint is spalling off. That aluminum is oxidized and has, you know, that white oxidation on it. It's missing the clutch adjustment cover that one has, and even the restored one doesn't have the clutch adjustment cover. I've got a few of those that I bought. You can still get them new from Honda, so that one deserves that. What else? Original plastic on this machine and that machine, but with 70s, you take one direct hit to the front, you slightly bend the backbone of the frame, and then these acorn nuts will rub your fender. But if you look, it's not rubbing now. Why is that? Because this nut, somebody put a regular nut on it, so it's not as long as the acorn and isn't interfering, but it's not correct. Look at this guard. I don't think the other machine has that. Is that factory? This doesn't have it. This doesn't even have fuel lines. You want to notice on this? This one, that's just fake. Let's not fool anybody. Let's keep it real for you. So this one's not running. And this one doesn't have that guard. And the coil wire's got a whole different route. What's up with that? I mean, obviously this engine's been restored. It looks beautiful. But if you notice, even it is starting to make contact. So was this frame slightly tweaked prior to restoration and it looked good, but then once it was together, it was discovered it wasn't? Hard telling, not knowing. These fenders are reproduction. I can't remember the gentleman's name that did these. He sells them on eBay, both the 73 orange and the red 74s. I'll post his information over here on the right, but beautiful, beautiful product. The only thing I noticed is if you get these, and maybe it's hard to see in this video, but the frame is painted. You see the fender here. They're different oranges. The frame and the tank match because they were painted by the same guy at the same time. But the fenders are just a little off. Great if you don't have the original fenders. If you do have the original fenders, it's worth going through the process to buff them up and make them look nice. I think I'm going to talk about the seats now. So this seat is original. It's got some chatter on the back here. Who knows what did that? You can barely see that it said Honda anymore. A couple punctures in the side. It's got the fake pleated look to it. That's the original seat. This one is also original seat. Better shape. So this is a better seat for sure. Oh, look at that. That's a travesty. That's a slice. Oh, how heartbreaking. Very nice seat. Other than that, that's terrible. What a shame. This seat is a reproduction. You notice it looks brand new because it is. I don't know what these are going for these days. Even the regular second gen 70 seats are going for over $200 plus shipping now. So, you know, I don't know if this was bought as a unit or recovered or what, but that looks the best. But if you want originality, I would say this would be your best. You would want to clean that and put that up on your machine, even with the slice. You know, maybe you can get in there and put a patch in from the back to hide that and minimize that. It depends on what your goal is, and that's the thing with any of these, whether it's three-wheelers or vintage motorcycles or vintage cars. Originality versus customization versus hot rodding it. You know, there's a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration. Let's take this into consideration because I'm noticing this right now. Frame sticker, Honda Motor Company, made in Japan, right there on that little concave portion, right behind the air filters in that little tube canister. This one's missing it, but you can tell it was there. That brake cable routing is the same. Uh-oh, that's in the wrong spot. That should be down in there. And that cable runs the same way. That's a nice new cable. Engine is beautiful. Plane flying by. So this one's got the fuel lines. Notice this coil wire, because I did notice something. That coil wire's coming from the front and then down. This thing has got no fuel lines on it. Coil wire's broke, but you can see it hangs in this orientation. There's one of the nubs for the tank. And there's this guard right here. No guard on that one. This one, coil's got the same orientation. Looks like a newer coil wire. That rubber's not in the right spot. The gas lines are behind the intake manifold, and this guard is up here, presumably for the coil wire. Interesting. these gas lines go in front of the intake. So those are incorrect routing, and they're made in Thailand as advertised on the fuel line itself. Okay, so this is why it's good to have an original that you can compare and make all these comparisons to. Let's talk about grab bars. This grab bar, it's original. It's got rash. Somebody was stunting that thing up for the neighbors. Wanted to show off a little bit. Also notice the original decal is starting to flake off. This one is the second most original. It's got some marks on the grab bar, less rash, no decal. So it's a better grab bar, I guess. This grab bar is beautiful. I think all the chrome items were re-chromed on this machine, and that's got a reproduction decal. I'm assuming that's Bruce Allman, blue line decals. So, grab bar. This plate, that cover plate, is unique to the first gen KO K1 machines. The KO, the 73, had the 5-hole configuration. These all have the exhaust plates. The 74, the K1, had a 4-hole configuration, and the exhaust came out lower on the machine. You'll notice this one has no heel guards. This one has heel guards. This one also has heel guards. So the original one is missing some things. What else can we compare? Let's look at the controls. So I had a friend, MRC Builds, just got his first 70. If you haven't liked and subscribed to MRC Builds, make sure you do that. He's got amazing content. Good buddy of mine, and just want to give him a shout out. Follow him. Here's his channel. I'll put it also down in the comments. So there you go. But he just got his first 70, and he was perplexed that the perch is built right into the handlebars. So that goes right to the beginning of the ATC70. They were all like that. Chrome bars. No dash pad. No headlight. Headlights were never standard on these. Dash pads showed up, I believe, in '83. This one has better chrome. You'll notice the forks on this have been painted kind of a dark silver metallic, with some very nice touches of orange down at the bottom. The original fork should be silver, not silver and rust, as you can see here, but silver. And let's see the routing of the cables. We've got some failure here, but this is going outside the tank. This is not how they go. That should be between the tank and the frame. This routing is also should not be external. So whoever had this probably took the tank off, routed those the wrong way. Is this correct? I don't know. Should they all be on the same side? That has broken. Throttle cable. Yeah, is different. What have we got here? So this is a new wire that's hanging low. Brakes go on this side. No, that's your throttle cable. Yeah, this is electric, so that's different. But again, fresh chrome, fresh chrome. Those bars look like $1 million. Triple tree, the forks, everything looks wonderful. Let's look at VINs. I'm curious about VINs. For this, I want to go get a book. This is the Honda Motorcycle Identification Guide. Covers years 1959 to 2000. There's a couple different versions of this book. Depending on which one you get, your year might be different. But it's got all the information on all the ATVs. It's not exhaustive. It's not all-inclusive. It leaves out some details that you'd like, but it does talk about the machines. So that machine to me looks all original. It does show the heel guards. It does show the clutch adjustment cover. Shows the gas lines being routed behind the intake. Can't really see detail enough on that guard that we saw. But it says the frame is 1000001 to, we don't know. The engine is the same. 74 picks up with 1100001. So let's see what's the youngest and what's the oldest as far as frame goes. 1001547, 1547. 1000899. 899. Oh, could you even see that? 899. Restored one. 1002969. 2969, 899, and 1547. So that's the youngest, that's the oldest. This one's the middle age. And this is the youngest. Interesting. Let's pages are blowing, but let's just see what they wrote real quick about the KO70. So ATC70 KO versus where does it say K1? This is K1. Wait. Let's read. Daytona orange versus light scarlet red for 74. Oh, K1 right there. K1. Fuel tank flame decal is red, orange, and yellow. Fork legs are silver. Rear exhaust shield has 5 holes versus exhaust shield has 4 holes. Black pleated seat, KO through 83. 2-piece fixed rear fender, KO K1. 72cc overhead cam. Single 3-speed automatic clutch, and that goes through 81. So in 82 is the 4-speed, the first year of the 4-speed. Somebody asked me that the other day. They also introduced parking brakes sometime in along that. But anyway, these books are awesome. I'll start using that more in my videos so you can get a flavor of what you might be missing. But what else is there to talk about? Let's talk about the plans. You know, so I got, let's pick this apart because there were some things about this that I wanted to mention. Professionally restored, but that is a pretty ugly repair job. And I was very surprised to see it. It's also over here. So what caused that, I don't know. But I went back to the pictures that I had of this machine when I sold it, and I'll zoom in and I'll post them here. I don't have clear shots, but it was like that when I sold it. It was like that when I got it. So that wasn't done by the guy who restored it, but I'm honestly a little surprised there wasn't more effort tried to grind and make that pretty before this was buttoned up, you know. This is the only one I've seen that's got that decal on it. I don't know if that's factory or not. Pretty neat though, because you do wonder what's on and what's not for choke. Another thing, my only other qualm about this is the hardware. If you've worked on enough Hondas, you'll know that that is not Honda hardware. I'm trying to get that one. Honda hardware is pretty unique looking. It's usually got that circle with the line through it, stamped in the end. So if you look at all this hardware, you know, with exceptions being a lot of times these triple clamp bolts aren't like that. It's all Honda hardware. So maybe this didn't have all the hardware on it, had a mix, and maybe a conversation was had between the gentleman who had it restored and the gentleman doing the restoring, and they said, you know what, make it all uniform, even if it's not all Honda. I'd rather have it uniform and look the same versus a mix. Okay, that's what I'll do. So you never know what those conversations were between restorer and customer. So I'm not holding that against anybody. I'm just pointing it out that it is a difference. It is a thing. I think the untrained eye, or the unpicky eye, which I guess mine has become, would think this is amazing. And it is. It is very amazing. It's not perfect. That guard, that lower chain guard, is not silver on this one. Looks like it's been painted black. This one is silver. The original one is silver. Or the restored one, rather. The restored one has the plug right here. So where you can lube up your chain. The chain is right behind that hole, but that's missing the plug. And that's missing the plug. That's a common thing. One of the things that gets swapped out, or not swapped out, but taken out to do a little bit of maintenance that you have to do to keep a Honda running. And it gets lost. So correct tires as far as Atsu whammy last, but these are a later version. Tread pattern is the same. Actually, tread pattern is close. We'll say that. Because look at those knobbies. About the size of my pinky, just a touch smaller. Versus this one, which we know. No, I'd say they're the same. Touch smaller than my pinky. Okay. Okay, we'll let that fly. I even left the cobwebs on this. This is freshly rolled out from the stable. I did have to put some air in those tires, though. Not an uncommon thing. These being split rims, they have a big O-ring between the two halves, and then you put a tire that's designed for a standard rim that doesn't have a big thick bead like these would. The bead on this is thick and meaty, so it helps seat the tire against the rim and hold the air, where these don't. So you might have that O-ring in there perfect, but because you're putting a tire on it that's not designed for it, your chances of success might not be as great as the original. But the originals aren't available, so you got to do what you got to do. Sometimes a good option is just to put a tube in it, and there are tubes that aren't threaded, so it looks more original, like an original valve stem. On a sport machine, that's probably not what you want to do, because you can spin the rim independent of the tube and shear that right off. You don't want to do that. But on a machine that isn't going to be spinning the tires, and probably with these isn't even going to be ridden, that might be a good option for you. Where did this one come from? This came from my buddy Jim. Jim is local to me, about 30 minutes away. This sat on a shelf above his man cave area in his garage, next to a 1974 US 90 in really good shape. And I told him, Jim, if you ever sell those, I'd love to get a phone call. And he's like, yeah, whatever. I didn't think you'd ever sell them. And I went there a couple times, just visiting and checking in and saying hi. And eventually, it's probably 3 years ago, he got a hold of me and he said, you know what? I'm looking at an IROC, an 80s, T-top IROC, and I need to sell the 90, the 70, and what else did I buy? 250R, an 86 250R that I sold to the one and only PJ Hart. But this came down off the shelf with the 90, and they're both in my collection now. So that's how this one came to be here. And this one is freshly obtained from Mr. Legit, Chad Bennett. My buddy Donnie Bizall grabbed it for me. And dropped it off to me the other day. So what's the plan? Because I do have an inner perfectionist where I'm like, this is amazing, but that weld part and the hardware is fine for now, but I would like to get that to a place where it's perfect. And the cool thing is I've got 2 other machines here that could become donors. So let me talk about what I think on that. So just to recap, what is not perfect on this is the weld repair. Ooh, where's my finger? Ooh. And the hardware. The chrome is amazing. The engine is restored, looks amazing. Yeah, the fuel lines aren't routed the right way, that's easy. These 2 have unrepaired frames, undamaged frames, so no repair. This one's got a 3-digit number. That's the only one, 899. So what if I took the 899 frame and stripped it down, had it painted and fixed, not fixed, but had it painted and fixed in that way, and took all the hardware, had it replated, put all the wonderfully restored cosmetics on this, from this, onto that frame, made a decision about the seat, or maybe I'm going to keep 2. So maybe I sell one with the worst seat. You know, I do what I do. Keep a nice restored one, keep another nice one. So what I'm trying to say, that's a nice original. Keep that as it is. Maybe put that seat on that one and that seat on this one. Paint this frame. Paint these forks so they're correct. Swap over all the nice things to this machine. Swap over and vice versa this way. So I end up with 2 restored. One restored has incorrect hardware, incorrect, or not incorrect, but a weld repair. Sell that off. So I end up with all the nice things of this one on a frame that doesn't have a repair with OEM hardware. I think that's the direction I'm going to go with these. And I think he was dipping his wing because he agrees. So let's wrap this up. So thanks for watching. I know that was me rambling a bit about these machines. I'm very, very excited to own 3 very nice examples. Very thankful for that. We're just going to try to make one as perfect as possible. And if you have any questions about these, if you want to reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, you can direct message me there, and I'm happy to have a private conversation with you. If you have questions about anything I said in the video, or leave it in the comments. But this video wasn't intended to bash anybody. It's just showing what the machines are, so it'll help the next person know what they're looking at, so they can make educated decisions about what they're doing with their hard-earned money. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. We just hit 4,000 subscribers on the channel. It's I've had a couple of videos hit real hard lately, and that was very exciting to watch. So thanks everyone who's done that, and I hope you enjoyed this, and on to the next.